The thick... You remove... Nervously, you lift the heavy...
I can skip that with escape. So as soon as I look in there, he's going to charge into the room. No, that also works. Let me load, because I would like to re-equip that cloak.
You don't feel like wearing the cloak anymore.
Okay, never mind.
As you prepare to look inside the coffin.
Let's slow it down a bit. Take a look, have a feel, and try talking to him.
The Count is tall and elegantly dressed with a black cloak around him. His face and hands are chalk white, and his lips are blood red. You have a strict and simple rule about vampires. Unless you want to donate some blood, do not touch.
I've got that rule as well, chat.
Desperate to stall for time, you query the Count.
Sister Hagatha, you say? Who is she?
Oh, we've seen
The
her.
Count regards you with a suspicious glare.
Yeah.
Though I suspect you already know the answer, Hagatha is a charming mage who does as she pleases in this land.
Strange. I was not aware a new ruler had been elected.
Do not be foolish. Hagatha has no interest in the politics of this wretched place, nor do I, in point of fact. Death tends to diminish one's taste for power. No, at present, she is interested only in one thing. As am I, your destruction.
The Count no longer appears interested in humoring your delay tactics.
Was this who Hagatha was speaking to at the end of the previous recording? And by that, I mean I don't know if it's in this video or the previous video or anything else. Can we hypnotize you?
The Count is not interested in that.
What about the ring? The ring would make the most sense.
He would not see it too well from where you are, and you have no desire to get any closer.
Can I hiss him with the shovel?
The Count is not interested.
Yeah, I suspect I just need to show him that when we are pinned on the wall.
The Count.
I'll try the cross first.
In an instant, you are flat against the wall. The Count has you pinned so well you can't move a muscle, much less put up a defense. You can feel the Count's iron-cold hand on your throat. You have barely seconds before the inevitable happens. The Count snatches the cross key from you, and to your complete surprise, kisses it. A sarcastic grin flickers on his face for a moment.
God bless Colima.
We've lost the key. Stake?
You would never get away with that. You're having enough trouble breathing.
The malice?
You would never get
The youth potion?
There's no time for that.
Really?
There's no time.
No, that's generic. Okay. The ring.
With difficulty, you manage to loosen the ruby ring from your finger and drop it to the floor. The Count's eyes dart to it quickly, then flash angrily back to you.
We got a point.
Where did you get that?
The elderly woman who lives in a house to the south of here, near the beach.
She's dead.
She gave it to me for helping her.
The Count regards you for a moment. His dark eyes bore unendingly into yours, and you feel as if your very soul is bare.
What do you know of her?
She is not well.
I know. Do you think I am not aware of that?
You are sweating profusely. Hopefully, this vampire doesn't find the odor appetizing.
Does he feel guilty over what
Night
happened?
is the most dangerous of times for my mortal family. I have kept constant vigil over my wife for many years, so that from the darkness, no harm would come to her. When her time comes, we will be together forever.
I think tonight will be the night. I have seen her this very eve. I did what I could to help her, but I do not think it was enough.
So this clearly is her husband. The older vampire must be dead or predisposed or something, I'm not sure.
As you watch the giant bat fly out of the room, you remember that the Count confiscated your crucifix. Without it, you are trapped in this castle. Now, what are you going to do?
We could escape via the window, perhaps? But let me just make a different save. I would prefer not to lose the crucifix or the cross. If I just do this, skip that, approach him. I'm just escaping through all this. Let's show you the ring.
With difficulty, you manage to loosen the...
If I escape it, we lose the whole thing. I want to see if anything is different. Oh, cuss in.
As you watch the giant bat fly out of the room, you realize with dread that the Count has confiscated your crucifix. Without it, you are trapped in this castle. Now, what are you going to do?
I'm glad I checked that. I don't think it matters either way whether we give him the crucifix or not. I imagine we've got to exit via the window. That's rat though. Okay, has anything changed in here? I'm thinking there's something we needed to do in the library, perhaps if we figured out how to use the library card earlier in the playthrough. Like, can I slide the library card in here somewhere?
It is not. It is.
You know what? Everything is designed to be inserted into something. Yeah, I imagine though that if we'd done the library card or used the library card earlier, maybe what we need to do is return a book or look for a book. Just try going out the front door. But because we didn't do that, that option is not available to us.
The huge wooden doors are locked, and you can't open them without the cross key. It appears that you are trapped in this ghastly castle.
We're not trapped, we can go out the window. He specifically said he would not go out here unless he was desperate. And we are now officially desperate.
The window looks out. Seeing no other possible escape route, you climb onto the ledge and carefully lower yourself outside, hoping to find a decent foothold. It is a long way down.
Action sequence?
You are way too busy holding on for dear life. The bricks of the wall are slippery. Be very, very careful. Some vines have grown up around the castle. The bricks of the window leads back into the castle.
I have to be honest, I'm not sure what I'm doing here. Am I avoiding the vines?
Suddenly, you hear a switching noise in your ear. It's joined by two others. You instinctively try to brush whatever it is away, but in doing so, lose your hold on the bricks and fall backwards.
Are we dead? No.
Time slows as you fall, and your world turns black.
What is this? You know what? That's still better than Girl in the Tower. Oh, wow.
Our guest has awoken, my love.
Ah, good evening, dear king. I do not believe we have been properly introduced. I am Count Kaldor, former Lord of the realm of Colima. May I present my wife, Countess Lavidia?
A pleasure to see you again.
In gratitude to you for alerting me to my wife's grave condition, I took the liberty of preparing you a dish. I thought you might be hungry after your harrowing adventure at my window.
Do not eat that.
You will forgive us if we do not join you. Our tastes differ from yours. Do they not, my darling?
You shudder to think what different tastes actually means, but for some reason you note that you can no longer hear any rats squeaking in the distance.
Yes.
Indeed. So much to become accustomed to.
Does she want this?
You shall have all the time that the world has to share to grow accustomed to such things. Well, perhaps 30 years. Should the father locate the item by then, there might not be enough world left for anyone afterwards.
Has this father to do with why you frequently went abroad, always with that cloak of yours?
Most certainly. But I think that my affiliation with him and his association has come to a close. My obligations to them took me away from my beloved too often. I do not wish to repeat that mistake.
You are forgiven, my love.
Their attention, which seemed to have wavered momentarily, now redirects back to you.
Well, well, well. What to do with this one?
What were you going to do with him?
Kill him. I had quite clear instructions from Hagatha, who had apparently received them from the father himself.
But if you are not, as you say, affiliated with his association anymore...
They both share a knowing smile.
Tell us, King Graham, why are you here in Colima?
It's complicated.
You take a deep breath, trying to ignore the fact that you are the only one capable of doing so, and relate your story of the vision in the magic mirror and your quest to find the 3 gems of nature. The Count and Countess exchange cryptic smiles.
Romancing the stone.
Ugh.
Indeed.
Obviously, that was a private joke, as you did not understand it.
So you search for the one with which you would share the rest of your life. On that I cannot fault you, nor on your intentions here. Therefore, I can forgive the trespassing. However, there is the matter of the dark gem you wish to remove from my castle. I place a deal before you. I am looking for a magnificent sapphire-encrusted tiara. It is a valuable family heirloom and has been on this estate for centuries. This castle and its estate are old, though. It could be virtually anywhere, in any number of hiding places. I suspect there are many that even I am not aware of. I wish to present this tiara to my wife as a gift to commemorate the eternity we shall spend together. If you can find it and bring it to me before sunrise, then I will give you the gem you seek and your freedom.
Is it eternity or 30 years?
You nod, unable to believe that you have virtually been ushered away from death's door just so you can run an errand for a couple of vampires. You do not want to think about the consequences if you fail to meet the deadline.
Why? We'll become undead. Okay, so the tiara was in the chest upstairs in the original, but clearly it is now in a different location. My immediate thought is maybe it's not in the castle, maybe it's over at the church. I'm assuming that's why I've been given a shovel. Also, can I have the crucifix back, please?
The Count is a tall, fearsome-looking man. His chalk-white skin, ruby-red lips, and protruding fangs give you the chills.
They turned Grandma into a vampire. She's not a wolf anymore, she is a vampire.
The Countess is a slender lady who bears some resemblance to the elderly woman she once was. A black velvet gown graces her figure and makes her appear genuinely regal. Like the Count, her skin is chalk white and her lips are blood red.
So, I have until just before sunrise to retrieve this tiara?
That is correct.
And if I am unable to before that time?
The Count's eyes glint red as he looks directly into your own.
Don't push it.
For your own sake, I shall hope that you are successful.
You bravely suppress a shudder. It seems clear that you are not off the hook yet.
Thank you, sir.
The Count has nothing more to say to you at the moment.
Pardon my asking, but as the Countess of this realm, I presume you have lived in this castle before now?
Yes, that is so.
Then how did you come to live in that old house by the sea?
After my husband died, I continued to live in the castle for a time. I watched my newborn son grow into a man, marry, and have a child of his own.
Possum.
Yes. Shortly after her birth, however, my son and his wife both befell a tragic end at the hands of...
The Countess looks pained and appears unable to continue.
I apologize if I have caused you to relive your grief.
A vampire cannot truly feel grief, but perhaps my wife still recalls hers. I shall continue for her, if you so wish.
This story seems to have affected her in some way. You decide not to query the Countess further.
I missed that. So, her husband died. This guy. She married again or something? And then there was a son, and then there was Possum? I actually missed that.
Please, if I may know, how were your son and daughter-in-law lost to you?
They were slain by the Brotherhood.
Assassins?
The Brotherhood?
You have met them at the church.
Your mind reels, so that is the connection.
Why would the Brotherhood kill your heirs? Oh.
As you have just guessed, the Brotherhood wish an end to the reign of my family. Why else would they give you the means to penetrate my domain, so that you could do their dirty work for them?
The Cross Key.
Exactly. Stolen from me through stealth, and their own brand of magic. The Counts of Colima have all descended from a single bloodline. We have always been partial to change, as opposed to the stagnating status quo of the Brotherhood. Over the last few decades, the Brotherhood have tried to dispose of my family as best they could. That which I am now was brought about by them. They were the ones who set the monstrous, infected bat upon me. Long have I cursed my ineptitude. I should have used magic to defend myself.
Do not be so hard on yourself, my dear. I remember that night well. That hideous creature gave you no chance.
Perhaps. But I should have awoken from my dark sleep sooner. Then I would have been able to protect our beloved son and his wife, and you would not have been forced to flee the castle, to live out your days in that wretched old house, under a false identity.
It was not so bad a time. Dear little Possum loved it. I hope she will be as happy in her new home. She has a new life now, with no reason to fear anymore.
She's a kid, she's
This
too young.
Brotherhood. Are they real monks?
No.
They were once, but something happened to them. Local folklore would have you believe that Weirwood Forest is a host to certain entities, spirits of the wild they are called.
And what of them?
I believe the monks encountered these spirits. What occurred specifically is beyond anyone's knowledge but their own. But it is evident that the men were given the ability to transform themselves. Unfortunately, their minds were apparently transformed also. They began to believe they were destined to rule, and since have presented great danger to myself and my family.
So the danger you face is not a result of some decades-old feud?
Not at all, dear king, though history will likely reflect such. But, to answer your question, the members of the Brotherhood are no longer the goodly monks they once were. They do not represent their fellow brethren well.
That was a very long conversation, holy crap. They can transform at will, but I assume they can also transform involuntarily at the sign of the full moon. Also, we infiltrated the place, yes, but we're not here to kill you. Really. Ignore the stake and mallet.
The Count has nothing. The Countess has nothing.
Okay.
There is a leg of ham on the table. An entire smorgasbord adorns the tabletop. It sits upon an elegant blood-red tablecloth. You seem to have lost your appetite for eating at the moment.
Let's grab that.
You take the ham from the dining table.
Can I grab the wine glass?
The Countess. You have a strict and simple rule about vampires. You seem to have an entire.
They're going to this much effort, you'd think we'd be able to grab the wine glass and do the Castlevania moments.
You have a strict.
Oh boy, that was a long conversation.
The smoked ham has a wonderful savory smell. It's hard to resist tasting it. It looks as though someone has taken a bite out of it.
Can I eat it?
You're not hungry enough to eat an entire leg of ham by yourself.
I reckon we could if we tried.
This is just a small storage room.
Yeah, those barrels probably contain blood, King Graham. So, the tiara. It's either left the castle, and it's in the church graveyard, or it's in here somewhere.
You peer into the ornate coffin. Finding it unoccupied, you see that the interior is lined with shiny red satin. A beautiful satin pillow adorns the interior of this ornate coffin.
Is it really under the pillow? Surely not.
The thought of anyone sleeping in this coffin makes the hairs on the back of your neck stand on end. The castle walls look dim, despite the fact that they are such a short distance away. The torch in this room doesn't help much at all.
Is it under the pillow? Really?
There is nothing to be found inside the coffin. You peer. There is no.
Huh.
You peer. A beautiful. There's nothing talkative there.
I can't move the pillow? Really?
There is nothing. You peer.
Can I put something in the coffin, perhaps?
You have.
That's very strange. I was thinking maybe we could pick up the pillow.
You jab mercilessly at nothing.
No, there was that. You've read the stories where you put a needle through a pillow, looking for something solid in there through the down. What else can we do with this?
The gold.
There's got to be something I can do here. Can I set the pillow on fire?
You. Brandishing your sword might make you appear. You can't. You.
Why would it not let me pick up that pillow?
There is.
Right now I'm just trying to pixel hunt.
There is. You. There is. You.
The fact that it's showing me this screen, that is significant.
You.
But right now I don't understand why.
You. You throw one of the coins high in the air. That is. That.
Okay, maybe I can come back here later.
The thought of. You search the coffin but find nothing of interest inside it. You search the... There is nothing to be found inside the coffin.
If I touch the pillow, that kicks me out. If I touch anywhere else, it just says I searched the coffin. There's got to be something we can do though, surely. Also, my cloak is just straight up gone. The cloak is gone, the ring is gone, the occupants in here are gone.
It is a long...
Let me just load here. Can I do that?
Since she is undead and not enchanted, the emerald would have no effect.
Alright, fine. I assume this is the same.
Since he is undead and not enchanted,
Just with a different pronoun. Can we get out here? Oh, we can. He's unlocked the door for us.
you see a young woman sitting on the dusty floor. She has a book in her lap entitled Little Red Riding Hood.
I wish I could read this story. All the pretty words.
A young woman
Whatever
sits
do
on the
they
dusty
say?
floor. She is reading, or trying to read, a book entitled Little Red Riding Hood. Aside from the pictures, she does not appear to be comprehending the content at all. Some children's storybooks have been stacked on top of one another. Fiction and fairy tale books are strewn all over the floor. Fiction.
The pictures look interesting, but what is this book about?
Fiction. Some children's storybooks have been... A young woman. If you want to introduce yourself, just talk to her.
I wish I could read this story.
Perhaps you should first try talking to her before offering her things.
No, I'm trying to murder her.
Perhaps you should first...
Game.
All the pretty words.
The book tells the story of a young girl who met a wolf in the forest.
The
Spoilers!
young woman's head snaps up. Her black eyes drill into your own. You gasp as you realize you are looking at yet another vampire. Just how many has the count made tonight? The young woman's lips transform from hungry to, fortunately, pleasant recognition.
So you are the guest of my grandfather's house. I was hoping I would meet you again.
The woman is startlingly beautiful, but in an eerie, unnatural way. You find yourself unable to speak for a moment. She does look somewhat familiar, but from where?
Oh, my handsome gentleman does not recognize me?
Should I?
You remember the basket, the soup?
With a start, you recognize the young woman. She's grown and matured considerably since you last saw her. The little girl, Possum, has been transformed completely into this. She has traded her small ruby cloak for a dazzling satin robe of the same color.
Are you unhappy with my appearance?
No, it's just that you have me at a disadvantage. I do not know your real name.
Anastasia.
A beautiful name.
Yes, 'twas one of the few things my parents left me before they died. They're probably buried somewhere on this island, as a matter of fact. What do you seek here?
You explain your so far unsuccessful attempt to locate the tiara. The young woman looks thoughtful for a moment, then suddenly snaps her fingers. A discarded pile of books shift aside from the floor, and a single black book is revealed underneath. She appraises the black book with indignant incomprehension, then holds it out towards you. You take the book from Anastasia's hand.
I do not suppose that has anything to do with it, but it must be about something important.
What makes you say that? Oh, this is so depressing. She's grown up into a mature woman and she can't read. She still has the comprehension skills of her young self. She's speaking very eloquently though.
How do you feel about what the Count has done to you?
I am not sure. I suppose I should be grateful.
Grateful?
Yes, If he had left me as I was, I would have faced the same danger that claimed the lives of my parents. The murderers hunt my family still. We will not be completely safe until they are gone. At least I now need not fear anything that prowls by night.
True enough. And if you can avoid daylight altogether for the rest of eternity, you will be fine.
Sounds awesome. I mean, I don't like daylight either, chat, but Jesus.
You have nothing else to say to Anastasia right now. You have a strict and simple rule about vampires.
Can we destroy her now?
Since she is undead.
No. The Black Book.
This black book is entitled Sleepy Hollow. It feels lighter than its size would suggest.
Is it hollowed out inside?
You open the book and are surprised to discover not pages, but a hollowed out section in which sits a silver key. The key's handle resembles the shape of a sleeping child. There also appears to be something written on the back cover of the book.
What would that be? The silver key, that's what we use to open the chest to find the tiara.
It is a shiny silver key. In the hollow, you can see that the inside back cover has been written on. Some words have been scrawled onto the paper. They are faded, but still mostly legible.
Oh boy. If treasure you seek dear to my heart, Tales of Fiction is where you must start. Find first the beauty with stepsisters too, then visit the huts that the big bad wolf blew. The girl with no flock will usher you away to the little old man who spins gold out of hay. Those two star-crossed lovers shall be your last guide. They'll lead you to riches that pirates did hide. What you earnestly seek shall now truly be yours, though guess it part wrong, and you'll be greeted by Moors. I'm going to show my lack of literary knowledge here, chat. Or maybe my age, because I've forgotten most of this stuff. I mean, Sleeping Beauty, Goldilocks and the Three Bears, no, Big Bad Wolf. That's not Goldilocks, Big Bad Wolf, I've forgotten. That's Little Red Riding Hood, isn't it? No? No, Big Bad Wolf, Three Little Pigs. The Girl with No Flock. Spins gold out of hay. I mean, we saw that at the center of the map in King's Quest 1. Is that Rumpelstiltskin? Star-crossed lovers. Pirates hiding treasure? Don't know.
The writing scrawled on the back cover reads, "If treasure you seek, dear to my heart,
really?
Tales of Fiction is where you must start.
I'm not cutting that out.
First the beauty with stepsisters too, then visit the huts that the big bad wolf blew. The girl with no flock will usher your way to the little old man who spins gold out of hay. Those two star-crossed lovers shall be your last guide. They'll lead you to riches that pirates did hide. What you earnestly seek shall now truly be yours, though get it part wrong, and you'll be greeted by Mars." Some children's... You don't have time to browse through books at the moment. You only have a short amount of time to locate the tiara. Concentrate on the task at hand, Graham.
Tiara?
You don't have... You are not in...
I'm terrible at pronouncing things, but that is not something.
These books... This...
Okay, I imagine I need to rearrange some books. Oh my god. Alright, definitely not reading that shelf. Or that one. I might need to look this up. Stepsisters, that could be Cinderella. Star-crossed lovers, that one I don't know. Where is Three Little Pigs? There we go. So, having done all that, let me just take a look at this again.
The writing scrawled on the back cover reads,
The Beauty was stepsisters too, so unless I see Sleeping Beauty here, I imagine it's Cinderella. Okay, so Cinderella, Three Little Pigs. Not that. Cinderella, Three Little Pigs. The girl with no flock will usher your way to the little older man who spins gold out of hay. I mean, I assume that's Rumpelstiltskin, even though I've never read that. Two star-crossed lovers shall be your last guide. They'll lead you to riches the pirates did hide. That I don't know. But let me start with, where is it? Where's Cinderella? Oh my god. That's an incredibly long animation. And for what? Oh! Anastasia? Help me, please?
You become acquainted with the greatest book critic of all time.
Okay, so question. How long is this going to take me? I can't skip that animation. Oh, God. I might break and look at a walkthrough for this one because I'm not sure about the others. We've got to sit through that animation every single time I get it wrong. I can't skip that one either. Jesus.
You become acquainted with the
We're running at the fastest speed and it's taking about 45 seconds to get through that animation. So we got Cinderella. Somewhere down here we got Three Little Pigs. And then after that I'm not sure. Yeah. Let me do some research. I'm not going to look at the walkthrough just yet, but what I'll do is I'll plug in some of the descriptions here and see if I can figure out what the tales are without looking at the walkthrough. That said, I'm going to have to consult the internet because my knowledge of children's literacy is not as great as it should be. I'll cut in once I know more. Looking online, the girl who cried wolf? No, I don't think that's a thing. Little Bo Peep, perhaps?
The right.
Did I see Little Bo Peep? That did come to mind just as I was looking it up. It might not even be here. I've never heard of most of these, chat. There's something like Three Blind Mice. That is just a, I'd call it a nursery rhyme, rather than a book. Bar Black Sheep, perhaps? Is it Little Bo Peep? It's the one on the right. Hang on. Yeah, it's the one on the right here. It's that one, okay. The man who spins gold, is that Rumpelstiltskin? I only know that because of King's Quest 1, damn it. Ugh. Okay, Star-Crossed Lovers. That I don't know. Star-Crossed Lovers, Twinkle Twinkle maybe? I mean, I've put it into Google along with Children's Tale, and it's telling me that Romeo and Juliet could potentially be it, but I don't think that's it somehow. I don't think children should be reading that, and not just because it's Shakespeare and it sucks, but because of that whole poisoning thing. Star-Crossed Lovers. Thinking. So looking online, there's a suggestion that it might be Dish and Spoon, which is based on The Cat and the Fiddle, the nursery rhyme, which I have heard. You're looking for Hey Diddle Doodle? Yeah, okay, let's try that. I don't think that's it, but I'll try it anyway. It's not it. Okay, Star-Crossed Lovers, what is this? So I have discovered that I can push these. If I can remember where they are. I can hop out here, and it looks like they remain pushed in. That will help, but not terribly much because we still need to go through the animation every single time. What were the other two lines? There was another line here about pirates. Those two star-crossed lovers shall be your last guide. Is that really frigging Romeo and Juliet? They'll lead you to riches that pirates did hide. Where's Romeo and Juliet?
A new book has appeared on the third shelf down.
Thanks, game. I hate it. My knowledge of Shakespeare is not great. I did have to read A Midsummer Night's Dream in school, and let's not talk about that. I highly recommend watching the abridged works of William Shakespeare on YouTube, though, if you have time. They do a rendition of Romeo and Juliet, which really does help elevate the art form, I think. That is, I think it's a truer vision of what the Bard was trying to achieve. We have a new book. Treasure Island.
You've located the correct book. You pluck it from the shelf and read its title, Treasure Island.
It's locked.
What is this? There seems to be a lock binding the cover shut. The keyhole requires a small, thin key.
Go on. That's a sort of puzzle which I think doesn't make a lot of sense. Talking about the key now, because we've already got the key. We had to open the book to get the rhyme, to get the book, but we get the key at the same time.
The key fits perfectly into the lock. You turn it and hear a soft click. The book is now open.
What's the point of that? That's what I'm trying to say.
Skimming through the book, you find that a map has been sketched onto the last page. Close scrutiny reveals it is a top-down layout of the castle and its surrounding grounds. According to this, the tiara has been buried near one of the graves. You shudder, hoping that this is not going to be a case of digging all night while trying to avoid unearthed zombies. There is also a small piece of writing near the bottom. A date of fate can be found with a first, a second, and a double of nothing.
Alright, I'm normally quick off the mark trying to decode stuff like that, but for this one, I've got nothing.
According to this, there is something written near the bottom. A date of fate can be found with a first, a second, and a double of nothing.
Wait.
There is something written near the bottom. A date of fate can be found with a first, a second, and a double of nothing.
1,200? That's what I get out of that.
You have nothing.
Right, our work here is done.
I wish only one thing as payment for helping you find that book.
Oh no.
Of course.
Would you be so kind as to take this bracelet and place it on my mother's grave? I believe she wanted me to have it while I was alive. Now, it seems no longer appropriate to keep it. Thank you. I must retire now. It will not be long before sunrise. Good night, Graham.
Good night, Anastasia.
I don't suppose you'll be smart enough to ask her mother's name?
The bracelet looks like it would fit a small wrist. It is a circlet of diamonds surrounded by beautiful sapphires.
Another treasure that we found in the original game. Can we put it on?
The glittering bracelet is too small for your wrist.
Make it fit. Okay, can I go right here? Can I go left here? That's where the ghost went after all. We've lost the cloak.
As you step further into the cemetery, you can feel your life force slowly being sucked away by the disembodied spirits.
Shit.
You suddenly find yourself unable to move.
We're here on business.
The ethereal spirits drain the life force right out of your body. You tup with the spirits and find only the graves.
Okay, what do we do about this? Hell.
Hello.
I'll cut him.
Thank
Good night.
Does she disappear from here?
There's
She does. And she cleans up. Wow. What do we do about the graveyard? I don't think we have any appreciable way that we can protect ourselves. Still get through there with the aid of the sugar cube. I see that I can leave the island, and that makes sense. If I had to go back and grab the ring, for example, or the cloak, I could leave early and then go through that sequence with the coffin. What can I do here?
You blow through the reed. The ghosts are not interested in that.
How do I show them that I mean no harm?
As you hold up the bracelet, the ghosts seem to relax slightly. You wonder if it is now safe to approach them and enter the cemetery. When you speak to the Mary Ann Drinkwater, 1230 to 1266. They had traveled safely for many a day until crossing a bridge along their way. She lost her balance and fell to her fate. He tried to save her, but it was too late.
Have we seen that?
Lord Herbert and Lady Lillian, 1646 to 1668. Loving parents of Anastasia, beloved son and daughter-in-law of Count Caldor and Countess Lavidia. Our enemies, be warned. Their untimely deaths shall be avenged.
That seems remarkably grim to put on the gravestone. I mean, I haven't decided what I want on mine yet, but it would not be as petty as that.
You place the bracelet on the grave. It immediately sinks down into the earth. The ghosts do not respond at first. Then one of them drifts toward you.
Their parents.
It nods, almost sadly. The ghost seems to want to say something but appears unable. Its face, though transparent and hazy, is lined with grief and torment. Its facial features waver into focus. The ghost is female.
We understand that our daughter will never be joining us now. No longer do we need wait for her. Now we journey to the realm of the dead, where its lord waits to judge us. Farewell.
Damn.
You bow your head and cross your heart out of respect. While looking downward, you notice that a beautiful gold ring now lies at your feet.
They were waiting for Possum/Anastasia to die so that they could go together. Oof, that's brutal.
A lovely golden ring has appeared at the foot of the headstone. You lift the gold ring from the ground and carefully place it in your pocket. It is a gold wedding band.
I'm just going to make a save before I put that on.
A perfect circle.
Average band.
You do not think you have any business wearing it.
Ooh, not yet, anyway.
Samuel, you believe, 1255 to 1300. This young man sought to be holy. To save himself from being lowly, he joined the hood and wore their cloth, eventually died from professional sloth.
Is he a werewolf?
This grave is centrally located within the cemetery. A stone gargoyle rests atop it. You see the name on the headstone and swallow hard. It says, Count Kaldar, died 1646. Though you did not think it possible, you suddenly feel a lot colder.
What year is it? It doesn't say when he was born, it says when he died. How long has he been in this state? Not long, I'd imagine.
Kitty, 1500 to 1510. Sudden did the illness come upon sweet Kitty, no longer young. There is nothing more that can be done. Her lives are up. She's had her fun.
I want to make a comment, but I don't want to get sad.
Susanna Somnia, 1195 to 1265. He had put her to bed after she'd had supper, but forgot next morning to stir and wake up her. Tombs and crypts line the edge of this run-down cemetery. Though once grand and noble, years of neglect have obviously taken their toll on them. Samuel Count Bartholomew Scrooge, 1017 to 1101. To warnings he would pay no mind. Of his ailing health, his relatives they'd bide their time. After all, he had great wealth.
I've read that book. It's trash.
Jacob Scarlett, 1354 to 1411. He would not rise from out of bed, not even to soothe his aching head. Should have heeded what the doctor said. It's too late now, for he is dead. Count Christopher Evere,
there we go.
1175 to 1200. The young Evere, his time so near, said he, my dear, lend me your ear. Please do not fear, my life ends here. Alfred Chamberlain, 810 to 810. He'd not seen his first sunrise, felt not the warmth of dawn. All who saw him wept and cried. To this world he'd come stillborn.
Grim.
Boris and Olga. There was an old couple named Olga and Stovich, who in truth made quite a nice pair. They lived with each other for many long years, till they wound up in each other's hair. Date of death, 1567. M. Douglas and K. Turner. Date of death, 89. Casualties of the Rose War.
Is that a movie reference? If so, I don't remember it.
Tombs and Most of these tombs were the final resting places of past counts of Kalima and their families. They are all securely locked.
Right, let me just see which grave it is. Is it this one?
Alfred Chamber.
No, this one.
Count Christ.
Because, yeah, the way I'm reading this clue...
According, there is something written near the bottom. A date of fate can be found with a first,
1,
a second,
2,
and a double of nothing.
0, 0. That's what I'm getting out of that.
You stop digging when your shovel hits something hard. There is an open hole beneath one of the headstones. Nervously, you reach down, open the coffin, and look inside. These bones have been here for so long that most of them have crumbled to dust. There is a tin box here. It contains personal items that belong to the coffin's occupant in life.
This feels so wrong.
These bones have... You have no desire to carry around human bones.
I mean, I get that we're looking for a tiara, but we're going grave robbing to find it.
You search through the belongings of the deceased. According to the headstone, they belong to a Count Christopher Evere. After some tentative searching, you find a parchment. It appears to be the last will and testament of Larman Odnarb, healer. This isn't right. You run your eyes over the parchment. It's dated 1200, the same as the date on the headstone. However, the instructions pertaining to his burial were for Larman to be placed near his family at the church's cemetery. Oh dear.
Oh dear indeed. I imagine if we dig up one of these other graves, it's going to result in a very pissed off ghost coming after us. Let's confirm.
You become acquainted with your new roommate. You will both be spending a lot of time together.
Alright, so before I go to the church, I want to test something very quickly. Can I perhaps put the band in the coffin? It's either that or we're going to give it to Valanice at the end.
You peer. You.
It's so strange that I used a hand here.
You search the coffin, but find nothing of interest inside it.
It keeps me here.
You search. You search. There is nothing to be found inside the coffin.
But the moment I touch the pillow, it kicks me out. We've got to do something with that, but I'm not sure what yet. Right, so I have a problem. I need to go to the church.
You need to...
But I'm not saying that as someone who's never been to church in their life. I mean, this church is full of werewolves.
You climb back into the decrepit rowboat, and the shrouded ghoul ferries you back across the lake.
I'm also not sure if we have a quick way of getting back here. Like if I... One moment. If I go back over to the right now, overwriting that file, lovely. Yeah, we need to go back the long way. Damn it. Unless we get a convenient shortcut later, we need to go back the long way.